Hi, I'm Tami Powers, and I am the founder of PowerDrive Motorsport Futures. I have been an executive in motorsports for 2021 will be my 21st year, and it's awesome. It's a great space to have a career in.
Wow! And how did you get your start in racing?
So, hindsight is totally 2020, right? There's a lot to unpack with that, but I will say that following my brother around Martin, Michigan with his street car was something that I was always fascinated with, and now that I look back at it, I can see why. That's why I always tell the younger women coming up in the executive world, especially in sports, it's like, pay attention to your life. Pay attention to the people and the things that come into your life, because there's meaning to that. You just don't know it yet. But looking back, it started with that. And it also, thinking back to some profound moments in our life. Looking back, I enrolled in a shop class in high school because I was following my brother around and I wanted to learn more. And I walked into the class and there were 20 boys and one male teacher, and they all looked at me when I walked through the door, and it was the most mortifying feeling I've ever had. And I never went back. And the energy there was like they did not want me there. So now with PowerDrive, all of those things have come full circle. And it's crazy how life works. That's why I always tell people, pay attention to your life. Don't think that everybody's looking forward at what the meaning of their life is. And you have to just stay present and take all that in like a sponge and realize that nothing happens by chance. And, you've got to listen and you've got to be present.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I love that. I love that. So how many brothers do you have, Tami?
I have one older brother and one older stepbrother.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's interesting. It's interesting how our brothers can influence our life, right?
Yeah, I had no idea. I just wanted to be around him and annoy him, But now I get to send him tickets to come to the races, and now I'm the coolest sister in the world, right? So
that's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. And from your perspective, what do you think that we should know about racing, or what are the misconceptions about racing?
Well, I think, there's a lot of misconceptions about women in racing, and that's what PowerDrive is all about. I mean, for 20 years, I've been in motorsports, and in particular, drag racing. And NHRA drag racing is the only professional league where women are normalized racing against men. They've been doing it for decades. Starting with Shirley Muldowney, I could name 12 more. It's not just one, it's a lot of them. And so it's normalized. And so, during 2020, a year ago, when we were all put into this different space, there was an opportunity, looking back, to really reevaluate how we do business in motorsports and how we're going to pick up the pieces and how we're going to get back on track. And so with some downtime and homeschooling and really trying to figure things out again, I looked around the globe and I saw a lot of problems with women in motorsports and other leagues. And, you're one of one. You have Danica in NASCAR. You had Danica in NASCAR. You had Janet Guthrie, and first woman to qualify for the Indy 500. Well, what I found is there was a thread, the same kind of narrative going on of corporate America just isn't ready yet to partner with women race car drivers. And I really peeled back the onion because I wanted to figure out why. And so I watched a documentary on ESPN Plus called Qualified. It's the Janet Guthrie story. I wanted to dig in. I'm a research person. I'm a data-driven person. And I really looked at around the world. And this was 40 years ago. her career ended because she could not get corporate sponsorship.
Wow.
She was a great racer. Her performance was great. She had everything it took. But like Dick Simon says in the documentary, corporate America just wasn't quite ready yet. And I sat there and I felt this heaviness and this anger and this problem that needs to be solved. And so in collaboration with my 8-year-old 20 feet away in homeschool, I'm in meetings, I'm talking about this. I'm talking to Michigan State University doctors who've done studies about women in race cars, and I'm going over the data, and I'm mad, and I can't believe this is still happening 40 years later. And I knew I had a responsibility and a problem to solve. I now, it's like one of those aha moments Oprah talks about, where you go, oh, and you know you have to do something. So, you know, and I knew the day that I was doing what I was doing was the right thing to do, when I heard my daughter in her classroom and the teacher asked, what does your mommy do for a living? And she said, my mommy helps girls be able to race cars with boys.
Oh my goodness.
And you know how when you have an idea and you know something's good, you have to think higher, and you have to, and not only do you have to think higher we always think higher for everyone else as women. We're the nurturers. We want to make sure everybody's happy and everybody's okay. But I knew right then, the year I was having, I needed to think higher for myself so I could send the elevator back down for the next, for people like my daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's daughter. So it's like, I felt a very, very heaviness of responsibility. And with that came a lot of stress. And I started talking to people about this, you know, this idea I had to start a consultancy where my 20 years of being in this space, I know the best of the best people, and I have the best of the best relationships. I can take the power of brands,
Yeah.
and the drive of these athletes and put them together. And together we have Motorsport Futures. So that's how the name PowerDrive Motorsport Futures came about. And then someone else said to me, Tami, if you're going to do this, you got to go in 100%. You cannot have any doubts. You cannot have, if you have 0.001% doubt, it's going to fail. And so the moment I heard my daughter say that, it was the golden ticket for me to just drive through this. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that story. And so 2 things. Sean says he popped in because you're a kick-ass guest. I agree, Sean. And Latasha says, she says, I like that. Send the elevator back down. That's very inspiring, right?
Yeah.
So Tami, you launched this. I mean, your inspiration, you know, not only from your experience, but your daughter is an inspiration. So what do you see when you think about the change, about connecting brands with drivers, but what else do you see on the horizon in terms of elevating and driving your mission?
Well, I see a lot of things that are promising. Okay. I'm seeing just in the last year, women elevating women. You know, I always say 2019 was the hashtag women supporting women. Okay. And then the rubber hit the road in March of 2020. And what I saw was a coalition built of women. Mm-hmm. And it was no longer, oh, I support you, I'm over here and you're over here. It was women coming together. I have these Zoom meetings with women in sports every week during the pandemic. And there were 200 women on there. There were women who were furloughed that day and got jobs in that Zoom meeting. So this is the kind of thing I'm seeing. And that will then transcend over into the sports space as a whole. And with my niche being motorsports, you're seeing these athletes being elevated right now. You're seeing them more in the mainstream. You're seeing them not used as gimmicks, but used as inspiration. You're seeing them used for what their talents are and not because they're female. And so I'm seeing this shift and I'm telling you, if there's anything that I truly believe in, is taking a crisis and extracting the lessons, right?
Yeah.
And what did it mean? What did last year mean? Yes, it sucked. Yes. but what am I going to take away from that to drive my mission for the future? And this better normal is something that sticks with me, not the new normal, the better normal. And so, and I see it in racing all the time. I have a girl right now who's a mechanical engineer, and she's an open wheel racer. And she'll be the only American in the W Series overseas. And so I'm working with her right now because she can't get a call back for a sponsor. And you know what? I'm going to go to these Fortune 500 companies and say, look, you got a lot of hashtags going out there about empowering women and women in tech and women in this and women in that. I've got the solution for you. And it's not, I always say too, it's, you know, these young girls, they're young and they're fighters, you know, they're fighting. And I'm going to get in there. And I always say to them, just learn when to lean in, learn when to lean back, because it's not about a fight to the finish line. It's about strategizing a race. And you got to know when to lean in and when to lean out. And they said, well, I can't say the things that you say. And I said, that's why you have me.
Yeah.
I can say whatever I want. Let me say
no,
it. Right?
I love it. I love it. And one of the things that I want to point out is how, in general, taking a step back out of racing, because we just saw what happened at the NCAA tournament, right? What went on with the exercise room. So how do we change that narrative about women, women athletes, that they deserve the same as their counterparts on the men's side?
Well, I think it was done exactly the way it should have. It was brought out into the forefront in a way that was, look at this and then look at that.
Right.
Right. And everybody went, oh my God, is that real or is that a meme? Like, people thought it was a meme. And I went, is that a meme? You know, I don't want to post something that's a meme. Like, right. I always try to look and get the facts, right? And I went, oh my God, that is real. And the young lady that made that stand up. And she didn't get on there and start screaming at people. What she did is she goes, you guys, you got to look at this. This is the weight room in the women's room, and this is the men's. Yeah. And she said, one of my dearest people in my life always said to me, if you have to have an uncomfortable conversation, or you have to say something that could create friction, say it with a smile. It comes off a lot different. So it's like she got in there and she goes, guys, look at this, right? So it was a way for us to see what was going on without feeling icky, right? And really being able to open ourselves to look at it and then go, oh my God, we got to fix this now, right? Yeah. And I'm telling you, it wasn't just women that were outraged. It was everybody was outraged. And that's the way it should be. And what you saw there with the food and the conditions, I think it's going to serve us well in the future, because that's not.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you, Tami. And I also, one of the things that was really great to see was the support from the brands, of brands stepping up and saying, you know what, we're going to provide X, Y, and Z, everything from health and wellness to sporting retailers. It was just really, I don't know, I just feel like a change is coming, and it's coming soon.
Absolutely. And to that point, I hope that movement causes the people or the person who is in charge of that to be inspired to be better.
Yeah,
because
for
it
sure.
feels good. It feels good to be better, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. That's one way to put it, and I'm sure that that will never happen again. And whomever made that decision, and others watching will be very diligent in regards to the decisions that they make moving forward.
Absolutely. And that's the power of social media, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is what we should be using social media for, is to elevate people, to take something that isn't right and putting it in the spotlight, and not trashing people, but just making the awareness of it in the forefront.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And doing it in the most I like what you said. She wasn't angry when she was showing us. She was just stating a fact, and the way that she posted it was just very I don't know. I think she did a great job. So kudos to her.
She did. It was effective. It was
Effective. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So Tami, based on your 20 plus years of experience in motorsports, in marketing, I mean, what would be the 3 career insights that you would share with our audience today?
Oh my God. And I thought, oh, I only get to say 3.
Well, you can share more. You can share more. I mean, the more.
Oh my God. Well, I would have to say keep going, because the first one is definitely keep going, because we talked about it. Movement always causes friction. And I think as women, when we make mistakes or we are unsure of ourselves, I always have this thing in my head, and I hear my grandmother, keep going, just keep going. There's going to be stuff flung at you. Just keep going, just keep going. And be okay with making those mistakes. I think that's super important, that you're okay with yourself, because you're learning. The next thing is keep collaborating. Like I mentioned, over the last year, the women came together, built this coalition. When things start to open up again, we've got to stay together, because I feel like hindsight is 2020 again.
Right.
That it's almost like the system was set up to keep women separate. It's almost like if you know what I mean? It feels to me like it was set up that way. And during COVID, we all banded together, because that's what women do. And when crisis, we band together no matter what. We have to keep the band together moving forward. That's what I hope for. And prioritize your time. There are only 24 hours in a day. Prioritize your time and be okay with saying no to things that do not serve your day, and don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love that. Prioritize your time, right? Because we're always so willing to say yes, 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 and then we find ourselves in a situation where it's just like, oh my goodness, like, am I being effective? So what am I doing here? So that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes.
So Tami, what as you look ahead to 2021? What do you think, what are the things that we should be thinking about from a marketing perspective, and, just in your world of racing, what can we expect to see?
Well, now that everything's opening back up, and I think you're going to see some assets shift from digital. I think people in 2020 are, just seeing the ads coming in. I think there's going to be a shift back to live events, which is great. And I think you're going to see marketers looking at that permission marketing on a higher level moving forward. That's what I think is going to happen. Live events, and getting those personal touch points at these live events, music events, motorsports events, concerts. I mean, I cannot wait to go back to a concert. I cannot wait to be in a crowd and people bumping into me. I can't wait.
Oh my goodness. And Tami, where can people find you, or if anyone wants to get in touch with you in regards to motorsports and sponsorships and, what you're doing with PowerDrive, where can they reach you?
Well, I started the soft rollout of PowerDrive in January on LinkedIn and Instagram at PowerDrive MF, Motorsport Futures. And my website is being designed right now. It should be up in a couple of weeks, which I'll announce. You can always reach me at Tami, Tami Powers, at AOL.com. I am such an AOL girl, and I'm so unapologetic about it. And Michael Jordan is still on AOL, so all is good in the world. And look for my website rollout. It's going to be fantastic. We're designing an incredible website. And, you know, we're going to connect. We're going to connect this space in a way that's never been done before. And the focus is on female. But, you know, I hope when we normalize women in motorsports, I'll open it up to everyone, because it's all about being inclusive and diverse. And I want to walk that walk. And lead by example. And just, I want to thank you, Alyssa, because by you putting the PowerDrive logo for this talk today was the first time it's ever been seen in public. So it was on your Lunchtime show, my PowerDrive logo.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you. Thank you for that opportunity to showcase your brand. And I'm so excited, and I thank you for sharing your story. I applaud you for what you're doing. I'm so glad that we connected. And just know that we're cheering you on, Tami, and we're going to stay connected. And we look forward to seeing what you accomplish in 2021. So thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we'll see everyone here on Thursday for our next Lunchtime conversation.
Thanks so much. Everybody have a great day.